Right. So we are discussing about yesterday's question. Right. The question is easy. The question is difficult. Always any question paper, whether it is prelims or it is mains or it is UPSC or it is state PCS, there will be always a debate happening amongst the aspirant community. They will give judgment about the paper. The paper is difficult, the paper is easy. Most of the students who are taking up this competitive examination will tell that this paper is difficult, whether it is optional paper or it is GS paper. The main point which they put is that the paper is difficult. Why they put that this paper is difficult? Because they see the question paper and they think that they will have to write each and every point 100% to score a better mark in their examination. But this is not your 10th examination. This is not your plus 2 examination where you will get 100 out of 100 and all. Because a student in Tamil Nadu got 700 out of 700 in the NEET examination. This is not a school examination. This is the one of the topmost examination, and therefore it is not about absolute performance. It is about relative performance. You should be able to answer above average. There are some questions which will be always straightforward, and these straightforward questions will have to fetch you 70% of the marks, and majority of the questions will have to secure more than 60% of the marks, and minority of the questions will have to give you 50% of the marks. Always there will be two questions which will be very difficult for the students, and they keep on discussing about these two questions. I remember 2 years back, there was a question in sociology paper called as green chemistry, and students were so much obsessed with that question called green chemistry. What will I write in green chemistry? I left green chemistry. Out of 38 questions, you are supposed to write around 30 questions properly. Even if you do average answers in the 8 questions, you will be able to cross 300. All those people who have crossed 300, our own students who have crossed 320, have not written all the 38 questions 100% right. They have done 30%, 30 questions. They will be above average. It will be a very excited, elated performance in that 30 questions, and remaining 8 questions they'll be able to manage. They'll be able to do reasonably justice to the questions. That's all. So you need not worry about one question, especially a question which was asked on family, Morgan's view of family. Many called yesterday after the paper was over, sir, Morgan's view of family, Morgan's view of family. We left. Just because of leaving 10-mark question, it is not that the UPSC is going to close the door for you. There are many questions which are very, very straightforward questions. If you have done those questions properly, then you need not worry about this main examination. You can start preparing for your interview, right? And there is no correct answer, wrong answer in sociology. That is the advantage of sociology. It is not like prelims examination where you are right or wrong. In prelims, you will be right or wrong. In mains, whether you are more right or less right. That is what is the main difference. The degree of rightness is what is checked in the main examination. Right or wrong is checked in the prelims examination. So it is easy for you to gauge your performance in the prelims, but it is very difficult to gauge your performance in the mains. I have my own students who have told last year that it is not up to the mark. Questions were easy, but I have not done up to the mark, and today they are in service. They have really scored well in sociology paper. So as R.K. Merton pointed out that your subjective perception and the objective reality may not be isomorphically connected. Those students who have done their main examination, they know this theory of R.K. Merton. You may think that you have not done well, your marks will be good. Some of the people may think that they have done well. the marks may not turn out properly. So it is not about your subjective thing, it is about you wait for the results to come. You have done your examination, stop discussing about the examination. Those students who have given their examination, they fully know that this is not their year. If they are like that, then I will suggest them to start with this sociology answer writing session now onwards. Now onwards. If you are thinking that I have no chance of clearing this year, inner feeling says, don't worry, take 1 week rest. October 6th onwards, we are starting a program. Just follow the program, right? Which will take you to the place where you wanted to go. Other people who are thinking that, okay, I have done well, do your mains, do your interview preparation properly. That would be sufficient, right? Many questions I can say to those students who have written all the 24 tests of our phase 1 and phase 2, that the questions have come directly from these tests. I will release a list of questions which we have asked and what UPSC has asked. 1 or 2 questions may go that side, like the Erwin Goffman's approach, or the approach like the Morgan's approach of family. But other than that, most of the questions you have solid points to write, right? We will not give you a model answer for the questions which we have got in the yesterday's paper. We will give you an approach, because I have been told to take up in 2 hours approach to paper 1 as well as approach to paper 2. I have got so many queries from the students that they wanted just an approach, right? What you should have written, how you should have approached the question. So it is not a detailed answer, it is just an approach which I would trigger from my end, that you can pick up that approach and you can think on those lines. Okay. Now we are starting with the paper 1. This question, when the students see this question, 1A, sir, what is given, feminist method of social research. What do you mean by feminist method? I told my students that you need not worry. You see the basic foundation of the question. The basic foundation is feminism. Feminism in social science research. Why should this feminism in social science research should be a topic in the first place? Because research is always male-centric research. It is androcentric research. Those who are doing research as well as those who are participating in research are male, who represent the patriarchal society. So therefore, the normal sociological research will be missing out the real problem faced by women in multiple levels. And the problems faced by women in one culture is different from the problems faced by the women in another culture. So it becomes a necessity for the feminist scholars to focus on research and make social research gender sensitive. Now, you should write about how patriarchy controls the science. The moment when we say patriarchy, it means that there is some sort of power relationship happening between the researcher and the researched. But feminist research wanted to undo this. They should be able to easily connect with the researched. The researcher and the researched will have to be easily connected, so that the researched their problems and their experience will be better understood by the researcher. And there is a very, very important point here, that since women are doing research and they are looking at the problems from the women's perspective, it would be easier for them to experience a problem stated by the researcher from the point of view of women. Women's problem was ignored by men researcher. Women's problem will be better understood by the women researcher. So that would be the context to write an answer for this question. Why women do research? They wanted women empowerment. They wanted gender justice. They wanted different discriminations faced by women across different cultures to be ended. So, on one hand, this may throw a question that women are very emotional, they lack objectivity, because this is what is the androcentric research. Male dominated research says that women should not do research because they are emotive in character, they lack rationality. And if you look at the major books, Communist Manifesto written by Karl Marx, or holy books written by the prophets or propagated by the prophets, they are written by men. So this is a very radical departure from the pattern of research which is controlled by men. You should understand that science itself is controlled by men. How many women scientists you will name as against men scientists? If you think about women scientists, you will be able to get to know this Madame Curie. Other than that, name men scientists, you'll have so many. So this is what is the background of the question. You can easily answer the question if you know what is feminism. Connect feminism with that of research. But since it is given as 1A, a student seeing this question sees that there is some sort of interpretation he has to make, she has to make. So a little bit they are down. I keep telling 2024 also, 2025 also, just you have to apply this. Underline the main theme of the question. You have the sociology under the main theme. Try to connect that theme with that of the question research. So this is about the first question. The second question is political science and sociology. And this is a very old type of question according to me. This is not in tune with the current trend of UPSC sociology. They stopped asking the relation between sociology and other social sciences directly. The trend of sociology was sociology's relation with other social sciences, how it is evolving in the contemporary time, how interdisciplinary approach is being promoted by sociology, what is the scope of sociology in 21st century, how globalization is expanding the contours of sociology. Those are the dimensions of the question which have been asked in the UPSC sociology in the recent past. They did not ask a comparison between sociology and a particular social science. I think last time they asked about sociology and anthropology many years back. Then they have asked about sociology and philosophy. They have asked about sociology and history. History without sociology is rootless. Sociology without history is fruitless. Like that we had a previous question. But this is going back to the old trend, linking sociology with that of a particular social science like political science. Now, You know, in sociology, where do you find political science theories? The word itself is indicative of that. Political system. There is a unit called unit number 7 in paper 1 called as political system, where we have so many political scientists turned sociologist or sociologist turned political scientist writing about power, party, civil society, state, nation, so on and so forth. Whenever you are asked a question on political sociology, the first and the foremost thinker who has to strike your mind is Max Weber. Weber, you write Weber sociology. How he contributed to political science? Now tell me, what is sociology? Study of society holistically. What is political science? Study of the political system, the political structures, the political institutions. That is what is studied by political science. So politics is not operating in vacuum. Politics is operating in a society. So social structure definitely influences the political structure. Social institutions will influence the political institution. Law made by the state will be influenced by the customs present in the society. And therefore, without understanding society, political science would be fruitless. Without understanding society, what Weber said about power, he gave a concept called as zero-sum concept of power. Right? People have spoken about political party. Gabriel Almond. And Powell. Then people like Lipset. Whether Karl Marx did not speak about polity, he spoke about polity. Polity is rooted in economy. So even Karl Marx can be written Marxian political scientist. State is the instrument of the bourgeois who will act according to the interest of the bourgeois. Right? C. Wright Mill, who spoke about power elite, writes how democracy is a mythical proposition in America. So there is a philosophy you should know which you have to apply. What you know, from the known you go to the unknown. The moment political hits you, Weber should automatically come. Marxian sociology should come. Elite theorists will have to come. Civil society will have to come. Montesquieu. Without Montesquieu, how can you speak about democracy? Without Rousseau's concept of general will, how will you create a state? The only difference is that political science is concerned only with the how power is influencing the political system, how power is distributed amongst the organs of the politics. Sociology says how power is connected to the larger society, how political system influences to religion, family, family, education, value system, so on and so forth. There is a concept called as political culture. When you come to Indian society, Rajini Kothari speaks about how Congress is a system that the political culture called modern political culture, democratic political culture, when it is operating in the traditional society like India, which is having caste system, politics will naturally influence caste. It will influence caste. So therefore he writes, caste needs politics as much as politics is needing caste. So this is what is the expectation of UPSC. Dramaturgical perspective. This is really something we have not sensitized the students that it is Erwin Goffman's approach. It is otherwise called as impression management. But students have studied, when they studied deviance under R.K. Merton, we will have criticism of R.K. Merton by Interactionist School, Total Institution of Erwin Goffman. Goffman's Total Institution. He only gave this dramaturgical perspective. Actually, even if a student has not understood what is the meaning of this dramaturgical perspective, you have to, when you are stuck up with a particular word, you should not stop with that thinking that I don't know. You should complete the question. I don't know this. Let us assume that I don't know this. I am reading X perspective or X perspective. Okay. How does X perspective enable our understanding of who has spoken about everyday life? Tell me. Which is sociology? There are two sociologies in general. One is positivism, another is anti-positivism. Who has spoken about anti-positivism, or who has spoken about everyday sociology? Micro sociology, macro sociology. Macro sociology, positivism. Micro sociology or everyday sociology is by non-positivism. So even if I say X perspective, Y perspective, I am getting a clue. Everyday life is characterized by what? Interaction. Daily interaction is happening or not? Daily action is happening or not? So definitely you can pick up the clue that it should be non-positivist methodology, right? Everyday sociology, symbolic interactionism. In symbolic interactionism, we have G.H. Mead saying role playing, role taking, role playing, role. What Shakespeare says, the entire world is a drama. We are all the actors on the stage. This was impressing Erwin Goffman. The entire world is a drama. Society is a stage where every individual is playing a role. How the role is played? Using symbols. There are two types of roles. One is the front stage role, another is the back stage role. Front stage role, which is visible to others. Others can see those actors playing the role on the stage. We are all seeing a drama. People are playing the role. One is playing the role of a king, another is playing the role of a servant, like that. So the one who is seeing, audience will expect something from the person who has taken up the role. And according to the expectation, the stage artist will have to perform. If he is performing according to the expectation of the audience, he will be applauded. Otherwise, they will throw stone on you. Now come to the backstage. Backstage, the same actor, when he is going backside of the stage, he is not bothered about anyone. There is no audience. He can be of himself. So when you compare this, me part front stage, I part backstage. That's all. See, is reference group. Now, is reference group means you can say yes, you can say no. You can say yes, you can say no. So we will say both, yes, no, both. Is means yes or no. Yes. In this reference group, in the introduction, who has given the concept? R.K. Merton has given this concept. Why he has given the concept against Marxism? Is it applicable? If you come to Indian sociology, Sanskritization, Westernization is application of reference group theory. M.N. Srinivas writes about this. No, Charles Murray writes about underclass in Britain. These people do not compare themselves with anyone. They are excluding voluntarily from the larger society. There is no reference group. They themselves have withdrawn from the active membership. They don't follow anyone. Sometimes you follow, not to follow. You refer them, not to follow, but to protest against them. Brahmanism versus shamanism. Sanskritization is emulating the Brahmanic way of living. Former untouchables found that it is Brahmanism. We will go against, compare Brahmin value system, totally do something opposite, counter culture or subculture. It is better called counter culture. Counter culture means take the mainstream culture, do something opposite. But in this case also you are referring to some culture, but making it upside down. That is subcultural theory. Boundary line between ethnicity and race is blurred. Yes, it is blurred only. Now, what is race? What is ethnicity? Right? Race is a biological construct. Ethnicity is a cultural construct. This means color difference. This means cultural difference. A culture has many races. So sometimes you come under the concept of race at one point of time, at the other point of time you come under the concept of ethnicity. That is why Frederick Barth writes about ethnicity and flexible boundaries. He wrote about cultural stuffs that makes an ethnic group. Take for example, when you are in Tamil Nadu, you are called Tamilian, and somebody is called as a person from Telugu state, Andhra. Both Andhra and Tamil Nadu person going to North India, they are called as South Indians. A South Indian, North Indian is going to Pakistan, they are called Indians. Pakistani Indian going to America, they are called as South Asians. Sometimes you come under one, you come under the other, and therefore the boundary is not very clear. They are flexible. As T.K. Woman says, ethnicity is a social mobilizer. Based on the interest, you identify yourself as belonging to a particular group. You wanted to oppose the three language formula as suggested by national education policy. Then you say, I belong to this Tamil. If you say that no, it is present in the concurrent list and the central government should not enforce on me, along with the states of Tamil, along with the states of Andhra Pradesh and Kerala, you will say that no, this is discrimination against federalism. So, Ethnicity is a broader concept which embraces caste, religion, race, region, tribe, language. Now, what is the purpose? What is the interest? Based on the interest, you take up that identity. So, this is the answer. This may be the approach. You have to justify. Robert Mitchells, he writes a book, Political Parties, where he spoke about iron law of oligarchy. See, this is a thinker who has not been asked, I think, in the recent past. Many questions used to come about C. Wright Mills, and many questions also came about Pareto. I think 2 years back, they asked a question on circulation of elites, which was a concept given by Wilfredo Pareto. Now they have additionally added Robert Mitchells. Oligarchy is an antithesis of democracy. Take a particular word and write opposite to that particular word. Oligarchy. Why oligarchy? Oligarchy is antithesis of democracy. Oligarchy means rule of few people. Democracy means rule of all, majority. So why you should speak about any concept, compare with the concept which is operationalized in India, democracy versus oligarchy. Robert Mitchell says no country can be called a democratic country. Democracy is a misnomer. Why it is a myth? It is a misnomer. Why? Because there is present always rule of few people at the top. So first a leader will emerge and he will ensure that his position becomes very stable. He will not let the other man to come to occupy this leadership role. He will maintain distance with the followers. Why he comes in the first place as a ruler? Why? Because he has the ability to lead the masses. Masses cannot lead themselves. There is a psyche of the masses that they wanted somebody to lead them. They wanted to be led. They don't lead by themselves. So naturally, somebody will come who is having some personality trait. Weber would call this personality as a charismatic personality. They will come, or they may be a legal rational personality. They come. Once they come, they will not let the other person to come to the office. They become stronger. The experience of these political leaders are totally different from the experience of the common man. So they know how to manipulate the mass mind. They are skilled people, and that is why they always stay in the power. Whether it is dictatorship or it is democracy, they are not qualitatively different from each other. So democracy, real is a myth. This tallies with Karl Marx. And this also tallies with Max Weber. Because Max Weber says rule of few, everyone cannot rule. Zero sum power, constant sum power means what? Only few people can rule, not all. Any question on political sociology, without Weber, you can't generate points. So Weber always will be there. Always we keep on telling you that the fourth unit will supply points for many questions. Marxian theory of power you can write. Weber's theory of power you can write. Mitchell is a combination of Marx and Weber only. And Pareto's theory of Lane and Fox. Circulation of elites, again they have asked, repeated question. What this elite theory says, these are coming under elite theories. Robert Mitchell or Pareto or C. Wright Mills, they all come under the category of elite theories. Elite theory come as a criticism against democracy. 1950, democracy was studied by C. Wright Mills in America, found that there is no deconcentration of power or decentralization. There is more centralization of power, but you call this as first democracy, oldest democracy, which is unacceptable. 50 years after also they go and see in 2000. 1950 this study was conducted by C. Wright Mills. 2000 another study was conducted. No change, rule of few only. So rentiers and speculators. Rentier, lion, speculator, fox. Fox will be replacing lion, lion will be replacing fox. So there is only circulation of elite. The question is saying, do lions and foxes essentially differ from each other? Definitely they differ from each other only. Because a lion will have muscular power, fox will have cunningness. Because of the physical power, lion will come to power. At one point of time, there will be a crisis. Muscular power will not be of any use. Mind power is needed. That time, fox will come, use mind power, overthrow the lion. But at one point of time, when fox is ruling, there will be a situation where muscular power is needed. That time, mind power will be insignificant. The one who is having muscular power will overthrow the mind power. And this is how there is always present elites rule in the form of circulation of elites. Historical materialism, dead easy. What is historical materialism? It is the what is historical materialism? Historical materialism is the perspective as well as methodology of Karl Marx. Materialistic interpretation of history is what is historical materialism. If you put the switch on, Marx historical materialism will generate the points. Automatically points will be generated. Contemporary relevance. Contemporary relevance of Marxism. World Inequality Report. World Economic Forum's criticism of World Trade Organization. World Inequality Report of Thomas Piketty and Lucas Chancel. Oxfam's Inequality Report. All justify that Marx is right. The inequality virus report told during the pandemic, billionaires became more billionaires and the common man has lost his livelihood. 40 crore people of India have become jobless because of the pandemic. So, Marxism plus these are the reports which will substantiate Marxian relevance. Those who have control over economy, they control over polity, control over the knowledge and everything which is present in the superstructure. What is variable? How do they facilitate the research? Variable is something which will vary, which will take so many answers. So many answers will be taken by that variable. For example, gender is a variable. Age is a variable. Now, what is experiment? Experiment is just a method to find out the impact of dependent variable, impact of independent variable on the dependent variable. How independent variable is impacting dependent variable, that is what is experimental research. You can give example. What is independent variable in one experiment will become dependent variable in another experiment. That also you have to tell. Because something is independent variable in this experiment. In another experiment, the same thing which is independent variable in this experiment will become dependent variable in another experiment. Right? So, the purpose of scientific research is to find out the cause and the consequences. Cause, consequence, effect will have to be found out. Cause effect relationship is what is to be found out in science. So, to find out the cause effect relationship, we are using variables. To study social phenomena, understanding the cause effect phenomena or understanding the cause effect relationship between the two variables is what is essential prerequisite. This was straight away asked in the question, straightforward question which we have asked in the test. See, this is what is the characteristic of scientific method? Observation, measurement, quantification, generalization. What will you observe? Data you will observe. How will you arrive at data? Through hypothesis. You will conduct research on the data, process the data, measure, quantify, generalize. This is what is scientific method. Do you think that scientific method is foolproof? No, it is having so many problems. That was highlighted by non-positivist methodology, highlighted by Karl Popper, highlighted by Thomas Kuhn, highlighted by Gohm, Michael Lynch. So many people speak about how it is difficult. For example, realist view of science. Society is an open system. Lab is a closed system. In closed system, you can control the environment, but in open system, you cannot control the environment, and therefore, it is not foolproof. That using scientific method is not to be called as an intellectual revolution in sociological tradition. Like that, you can write. Elaborate. Changing patterns of kinship. Kinship relationship is changing today. Now, why it is changing? Why it is changing? Modernization, industrialization, urbanization, individualism, egoism, everything you have to write. And how kinship pattern is changing? Right? So, the system is changing. Earlier system was based on patriarchy. Today's system is based on equality. So, which system? Joint family system, collectivism, individual mobility not given priority. But here when you move to the modern society, you have the cult of equality. If anyone reading family, they will be able to easily attack this question. But however, the change is because of economic change, not because of value change. Why? We have a spirit of joinness. There is a spirit of joinness. Bureaucracy is a product of historical experience of Europe. Yes, only. He studies Western societies, found that legal rational authority is relatively stable in modern society, and that is what is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy was present in the infancy stage in Eastern societies like India or China. But as a legal rational authority, bureaucracy emerged as a system only in the Western society. Because Western society is characterized by instrumental rationality, which is not present in the Eastern society. And now write about the ideal type of bureaucracy as told by Max Weber. Common sense is the starting point of the research. Yes. Common sense is the starting point of the research, because if you have to start the research, you should build the hypothesis. Hypothesis construction is the first step for scientific research. From where hypothesis will come? It will come only from common sense. Common sense gave you the raw material based on which scientific theories came. Though the scientific theory may be against common sense, or they may tally with the common sense, the raw material for scientific theory came only from common sense. Religion told earth is flat. Now scientists told, based on the assumption of religion, scientists worked and found that earth is not flat, it is spherical. Geocentric theory was replaced by heliocentric theory. So science is not coming from sky, it comes only from common sense. That is why Einstein says, religion and science. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind, because religion is the important ingredient of common sense. What are its advantages and what are the limitations? Limitations of common sense, as told by positivism. Durkheim says we have to eradicate common sense from sociological research, because common sense will produce assumptions which may be superstitions. So therefore we should go for empirical verification of knowledge rather than commonsensical assumptions. Common sense is culture specific. It cannot be universalized. Common sense is unsystematic inquiry of a social phenomena, whereas science is systematic inquiry. Common sense will not allow you to question, but science will encourage organized skepticism. That Karl Popper says, falsifiability should be a possibility for something to be called as a science. So much you have. Poverty and social exclusion. Social exclusion refers to the multiple deprivation, multidimensional deprivation, whereas poverty is only material deprivation. This includes even non-material deprivation. Ruth Lister says it is a wider concept because it is bringing into the fold the concept of social justice. When you speak about social exclusion, you speak about social justice. There are multiple dimensions of deprivations in social exclusion. One of the deprivation is material deprivation, which is what is called as poverty. So poverty, social exclusion refers to economic exclusion, political exclusion, cultural exclusion, educational exclusion. Right, how these exclusions are happening? Educational exclusion, tribal are excluded, Dalits are excluded, women are excluded. Politically, when poverty is present in democracy, right to vote will be only used for selling the vote, not to participate in the decision making process. Social exclusion, untouchability, discrimination, Article 15. Totemism, animism, differences and similarities, both are present in the primitive society or pre-modern societies. Write about animism, E.B. Taylor. It is what? It is about spirit, belief in spirit. But totemism is a mystical relation between the totem and the individual man. So totemism is not just belief, it is also belief plus practice of animate or inanimate things. But here It is only belief in spirit. So Taylor's concept and Durkheim's concept, Arunda tribe study, can be written. Durkheim's Arunda tribe study, totemism and animism of E.B. Taylor. Because there is a topic called as practices, religious practices in the primitive societies, pre-modern societies. Corporate social responsibility. People were asking, sir, how to write sociologically corporate social responsibility? I gave a formula, A plus B the whole square formula for any question. You feel that it is a GS question, but it has to be answered sociologically. Write Marxism, write feminism, write functionalism. How to write Marxism, sir? Engels and Karl Marx in Communist Manifesto write that in order to appropriate the surplus, capitalism should be present everywhere. It should be present everywhere. It should nestle to settle everywhere. That is what Engels writes. Capitalism was seen as immoral thanks to Karl Marx. Karl Marx. Why it is immoral? It is immoral because it is appropriating the labor of the laborer. It is immoral because it is going against the principles of equality, equity. So therefore, corporate world wanted to sustain. It has to defend itself from the attacks coming from Marxism. So what you should do? You should say that I am not moral, I am not immoral, I am very moral. So corporate social responsibility is nothing but corporate morality. It is nothing but corporate morality. Corporate social responsibility is nothing but corporate morality. So what actually happens is there are three types of persons in the society. One who will exploit, the other who will be exploited, and the third who will rescue you. These are the three people. One is exploiter, another is exploited, third is one who rescues you. Now, it has to create a false consciousness in your mind, capitalism. How you know? By acting the role of both exploiter as well as rescuer. This is Marxian perspective of corporate social responsibility. Functionalist perspective, who has spoken about morality? Emile Durkheim has spoken about morality. Without morality, society will get disintegrated. In his concept of division of labor, he says the purpose of division of labor is not productivity but morality. So Durkheim's understanding of morality through division of labor should be written. Now, when you write functionalism, when you write Marxism, definitely you will be able to address to all the environmental crisis. Durkheim has written at length in his division of labor. Anarchy is created when there is a modern capitalism. How to resolve anarchy? Corporate should become a community. Corporate social responsibility is only converting the material centric corporate into an ethical community, having the responsibility to contribute to the larger society due to the reciprocity. So, this should spark you. Corporate means what? Economic. Economic means what? Karl Marx. Karl Marx should be compared with what? With whom? Emile Durkheim. Durkheim directly they have asked only totemism. Indirectly they have asked in two places. One, CSR. Another place I will tell you. Civil society, democracy, how many times they have repeated this question? You know, the same theme they have repeated in this question paper. Three places. This is first place. Other two places I will tell you. This is a very, very direct question. So people know the answer for the question. Religion in pluralist society. Religion and pluralism. Whenever you get the question on religion, you will have to start with Emile Durkheim. The function of religion is integration. But it may cause disintegration in a pluralistic society according to R.K. Merton. Dysfunction of religion in pluralistic society. Now, we have Constitution of India to ensure that religion is not causing division in a pluralistic society by guaranteeing right to religion for all communities, a fundamental right. So when you speak about religion, right, Emile Durkheim, but this may happen only if all people practice one single religion, which will amount to monoism. Pluralism means many. So when many cultural groups are there, religion may cause integration within, division without. R.K. Merton says, to ensure that it is not causing inter-religious conflicts, we have given right to culture a fundamental right under Article 29. We have given right to culture, right to establish educational institutions for minorities under Article 30. We have given for all right to practice their own religion and right to have their own religious denomination, so that the constitutional secularism prevails over the divisive dimension of religion in a poly-religious society. British did this thing. They wanted to divide India based on religion because they knew that difference can be converted into division, for which they used 1909 Act to divide the people based on religion. Then extended the religious divisions in 1919 Act. So we were very aware of this British attempt to divide this country based on religion. That is why we wanted India to be a secular country, for which secular provisions have been inbuilt in the fundamental right. Here what people have a question. David Morgan's view. So Morgan writes books. Family Connections is a book. Family Connections. He wrote a book, Family Connection. Again, he wrote a book, rethinking family practices, family connection, rethinking family practices. See, the conventional understanding of family is consisting of people who are biologically related. He says that family is not about a DNA connection. It is not about DNA connection. It is about practices. What do you mean by practice? Practice means you have to enact something, you have to display something, and you have to recognize something. Recognition, enactment, display. These are the three things which will come in the practice. Enact. You should act in a particular way to be called a member of your family. Act. Display. Expression. Recognition. You should recognize that he is your family member, she is your family member. Now, there is a concept called as patchwork family. Beck Gernsheim has given a concept called as patchwork family, where an individual has the discretion to define in which family he should be counted. For example, there is a step brother, his wife. Whether step brother and his wife should come under your family, it is based on your recognition. So, if you have a common emotional relation, you display the emotion, you act in a particular way with responsibility, and you recognize that these people are your family members, then it can be called family, which means that even those who do not share DNA can be called as a family. So practices, daily practices, you are supposed to do a particular thing, you do that thing, you will be. For example, that is why parents will tell the children, you are not my son, you are not my daughter. If you do something which they don't like, they say, you are not my son, you are not my daughter, get lost, because you don't practice something which is expected to be practiced. They expect people to go for arranged marriage. If they are not going for that, they go for love marriage. You are not practicing the family norms, as a result of which you will be thrown out of the family. So it is practice of the norms. It is the practice of the expected behavior which makes you in the family. That is why to be in the family, family should be inside you. If you have to be inside family, family should be inside you. Interiorization, there is a concept. Interiorization means internalize that they are all family members. So a very path-breaking work of David Morgan, and that is why this question was asked, which was not something which many could answer. So I think out of 19 questions, many would have not answered this question. They would have written only 18 questions, not 19. This they would have skipped. Now, women's education, eradication of patriarchal discrimination. What are the forms of patriarchal discrimination? You should write. What are the forms of patriarchal discrimination? How and all you are discriminated by patriarchy as a woman? Now, education, it is an avenue for social mobility. It is a passport for gender justice. It can help you in the transformation of personality. It can inculcate in you a secular attitude. So the functions of education for substantive empowerment of women. There was a question asked. I also have asked in the test series. How education causes substantive empowerment of women. How law causes substantive empowerment of women. Not just formalistic. Substantive means real empowerment. So many a times they have asked education related question. We have new education policy in paper 2, this also. Qualitative methods. What are the different dimensions? Qualitative method. What is quantitative method? Quantitative method is giving importance to objectivity, whereas qualitative method gives importance to subjectivity. It will help you understand the deeper meaning of the actor. It will answer the question why. This answers the question only what. So this was used, preferred by non-positivists like social action perspective, symbolic interactionism, phenomenology, ethnomethodology. Yes, deeper sociological insight you can get only by this, because it relies on interpretation, not just observation. Interpretation. That is why Weber says sociology is an interpretative science. See, they throw loose balls to you. Hit. How much ever you wanted to hit, you hit. Same question without changing the letter, full stop, comma. Go to the previous year question. How many times they have asked this? Social stratification of Weber and Karl Marx. Straightforward. In fact, I tell you that if 1A is difficult, you see the 1A question. Like this year only they have asked something like 1A, which instant answer is not there. Go to a question which is very, very known to you. Very simple question like this question. Because when you write first, you should not have any type of regret feeling after writing. If you have a regret feeling after writing the first answer, it will have a carry forward phenomena. It will spoil your easy question also. So go to that page where you have dead easy questions like this question. Ethical issues in participant observation. Participant observation is a qualitative method. The researcher will stay with the researched, like Malinowski stayed with the Trobrianders. When quantitative method is studying from third person perspective, this qualitative method, especially participant observation, will study from first person perspective. But there are certain problems. What will happen? Participant observation is useful to study cultural relativism. Malinowski only propounded this concept of cultural relativism. Something is good in one place, that is bad in some other place. Universally, there is no good and bad. Every culture has good and bad, which is not acceptable to another culture. So go to that culture, study from that cultural perspective, don't study from your own perspective. So this is a very important approach against Eurocentrism, ethnocentrism, which was the dominant approach by the Western scholars. studying other societies. Go and study. What is participant observation in paper 1 is village study in paper 2. How many times they have asked village study in paper 2? Just I will show you. After this, I will show you how many times they have asked village studies, how many times they have asked social media and protest, how many times they have asked about this thing, education, their new education policy or education and women empowerment. Many themes are repeated themes. I will show you now. There is an ethical problem called as Hawthorne bias. That the moment you started studying, they will manifest some other behavior. So you will not get a valid data. The moment you are observed, you will change your behavior. And like Malinowski, if you stay for a very long period of time with the people who are researched by you, you will start supporting each and every practice of you, of them. Like Malinowski did. He said religion, magic is rational. Ethical issue, you will become too subjective. Then informed consent. They are illiterate people. How will you get the informed consent? And there are studies which you should not reveal why you are studying. Without revealing why you are studying, if you study, then it is an ethical question because they don't know why you are studying. But when they know why you are studying, then they will act differently. The researcher bias is there, the researched bias is there, field constraints are there. Ethical dilemmas. Economic globalization brought patterns of employment changes. This is nothing but informalization. How globalization causes informalization was a question which we have asked many times. Informalization. Here you should speak about reserve army of labor force. Feminization of informalization. Why informalization? For profit acceleration. Informalization is for acceleration of profit. What are the problems with informalization? 96% of the job done by women are informal jobs. Informal sector will not give you any type of social security. You are outside the ambit of the state regulation. So, what are the manifestations of various issues connected to informalization? Social media and protest. Social media and protest. New social movement is the topic indirectly. Leaderless protest. Hashtags are the new leaders today. Hashtags are the new leaders today. Arab Spring because of Facebook. Cairo Square protest because of Twitter, WhatsApp. Jallikattu protest because of social media. Right? So, social media is a very important agent of new social movement which allows many to participate. Earlier social movement, farmers only will participate in the farmers movement. Women only will participate in the women's movement. Dalits only will participate in the Dalit movement. But here everybody will participate. And you know, participation is possible because of a huge chunk of literate youths who knows how to use the tools of information technology. We are all in a global village. So a strategy which was successful in some remote part of the world comes to be known through this ICT revolution, which is used by the people at a particular locality to demand for justice. Taylorism. See, Emile Durkheim, division of labor, I found in two places. One, corporate social responsibility, another Taylorism, and another totemism, not division of labor, Emile Durkheim. See, Taylorism, 1911, he wrote about the scientific principles of management, where he says he is called the enemy of the workers. He says workers are lazy. They are lazy people. Why they are lazy people? There is a natural inclination not to work. He uses a concept, natural soldering or soldiering. Natural soldiering. Natural soldiering means people don't want to work. They simply wanted to be lazy. And systematic soldiering means the system itself will encourage laziness. So they don't work. To make them work, use scientific management principle in each and every sphere of work. Train them scientifically, recruit them scientifically, reward them scientifically, peace rate system, because he had a very pessimistic view of worker. So the merit is definitely, it helps to increase the efficiency, productivity, because it systematizes the work culture. Why? Because how profit comes, neither the owner knows nor the worker knows. Profit was not scientifically organized. Taylor says, F.W. Taylor says, it can be scientifically organized, so it contributed for the growth of business. But demerit, human relations approach, and the Hawthorne experiment of Elton Mayo in support of Durkheim's division of labor, that man is not passive, worker is active. He is socially conscious, not greedy. So people, they exactly do not know what is Taylorism, but when you read division of labor, always try to search the answer from thinker's portion. You'll get the answer. Very, very simple to answer a sociology question, even though if you don't exactly know the answer. Search the answer from thinker's portion. A clue, where you read Taylor, you read Taylor in animism, but that Taylor is different. He is not called Taylorism, he is called animism. This Taylorism means second Taylor you have studied only in division of labor, scientific management principle, F.W. Taylor. So if you locate that F.W. Taylor, where in division of labor of Emile Durkheim, take a clue from Durkheim and start writing an answer. Theory of underdevelopment or development and dependency, you can use Sri Lanka example also as a current affairs. Even though they did not ask current affairs directly, if you can add current affairs, then that is the best thing you are going to do, because if you write current affairs, you'll get 1 mark extra. 1 mark extra in current affairs, every question will fetch you 38 marks extra. So from 260 it will become 300 for you. Write 1 mark worth current affairs. This is the best example where you can integrate current affairs because of last year Sri Lankan crisis. Religious movements, new religious movements. In 1960s, there was a renewed enthusiasm in spiritualism in the Western societies. Enthusiasm of spiritualism in Western society, which is what is called as new religious movements. Cults will come under this new religious movement. So cult, various cult. Why cult? If you can give the answer, then you will be able to write. Forms and orientations. There are three different cults: audience cult, client cult, cult movements. These are the different orientations of the cult movements. Why in general new forms of religions are coming? Because man is going to connect with God according to postmodernism. When too much of science is present in the society, you develop a distaste towards science and you wanted to move beyond science. You enter the world of religion now. So religion gives you compensator theory of Rodney Stark and Bainbridge. Religion gives you tonic of self-confidence, Talcott Parsons. More and more capitalism, religion is like an opium of the masses, Marxism. The old community was killed by modernity. You wanted to search a new community. Man always wanted a community because he has a sense of belongingness to a group. Emile Durkheim. Science and technology to address to the superstitions. This you can trace the answer from Renaissance of first unit itself. Why Renaissance came? Science was questioning religion. What question? Superstition is what is propagated in the name of religion. Non-verifiable, unempirical knowledge is given by religion. So therefore science wanted to replace religion, and that is what is the beginning of modernity. So sociology is such a fluid subject that you can simply write answer for 10th unit taking clue from first unit. This is 10th unit. I am taking answer from the first unit. So it is so easy because like a liquid, sociology will take the shape of the container. If you have taken sociology as optional, I will, as a teacher teaching sociology for the last 18 to 19 years, I will say that you are having wisdom. How many essay questions came from sociology? How many society questions came from sociology? Go and see society questions. Without studying anything for society related topic, you can easily write an answer there. So the main problem which I have understood from the aspirant community is they think that this should be written only for this. It is not science. You can write anything in any place, but the only point is you should have, C. Wright Mills says, sociological imagination. Now the question comes, sir, how to develop that sociological imagination? Sociological imagination will not come overnight, it has to be practiced. How to practice? There is a way to practice. A student can easily attempt all the question, can easily score 320 plus in sociology if they religiously follow what I am saying. Before December 2023, if you can finish off the sociology, including answer writing practice, it is the surest way to success. 1 month extra you can give. If I am telling December, you can extend till January. But January, you have so many holidays, Pongal holiday, Republic Day holiday, so many New Year holidays, so many things will come and disturb you. So that is why all the sociology commitment you should finish by December last week. We are launching a sociology mentorship program to solve all the problems connected to sociology. I have told in the video that there is a content-based basket approach. This is going to solve the problem of paucity of points. That students say, no, I don't know what to write under feminism and research methodology. I don't know what to write about taboo and science and technology. It will connect so many topics. We will have 12 classes. Every class will happen on Fridays, only Fridays, 4 hours, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. That 4 hours of class will consolidate a significant portion of your syllabus, the test for which will be conducted in the next Thursday. So this Friday class, next Thursday test. Friday class, Thursday test. Do this for 12 weeks. Sociology is taken care of. You will become a liberated soul. Thereafter, focus on your prelims examination. Do some GS portions. Your mission is accomplished. And this core sociology mentorship program we are starting on 6th of October. Okay, next to Friday, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Now come to paper 2. A.R. Desai's dialectical perspective. 1A of paper 1 would have taken some time for the students. 1A of paper 2, put the pen on the paper, automatically it will write. Straight forward, Marxian perspective, A.R. Desai. Whatever Karl Marx has said in paper 1, remove the name of Karl Marx, write A.R. Desai, that becomes this paper 2 answer. Village studies. So this is equivalent to participant observation. See, same theme, how many times they have asked? Again, they have asked village study of Andre Bithai. Village study, why village study should come? In fact, after the implementation of community development program, they wanted to study about the impact of the CDP in India. They expected that when people are given scope for community development, village development, they will come together, they will do this community development. But what actually they thought did not happen, as village was characterized by so much of conflicts, caste conflicts, patriarchal village. Then structure functionalism jumped in and started pursuing village studies, because the oriental perspective of village, the Indological perspective of village was only bookish. Field view has to be given priority than the book view. The movement started with a very important sociologist called as M.N. Srinivas. He started studying Rampura village. So a plethora of studies came. S.C. Dubey, Shamirpet village, and M.N. Srinivas, Rampura village, F.G. Bailey, Bisipara village, Andre Bethey, Sripuram village, William Weiser, Kishangarhi village, or you can write A.C. Mayer, Kishangarhi village, Ramkeri, sorry, A.C. Mayer, Ramkeri village, Makhim Marriott, Kishangarhi village. 1950s, you found so many village studies. And what is the conclusion? Don't look at village as a static entity. Village is a dynamic institution having relation with all parts of the world. It is having so much of contact with the outside world. So villages are not self-republics as told by Charles Metcalfe. Attributional approach and interactionist approach. Attribution approach, G.S. Gure, M.N. Srinivas. Interactionist approach, A.C. Mayer, most importantly Louis Dumont. So G.S. Gure speaks about 6 features of caste. M.N. Srinivas speaks about 5 features of caste. But Louis Dumont says Most importantly, you should see how two groups are interacting with each other. That when it comes to social commensality, exchange of food, water, how disability is connected to one single community or few communities because of the notion called as purity and pollution. So this is very easy. Tradition and modernity are not antithetical of each other. What is tradition? West is characterized by modern, East is characterized by tradition. That is what the conventional understanding. So Karl Marx says that villages will not become modern because of caste system. He too had a pessimistic view of village. But however, we found that modernization of Indian tradition, a book written by Yogendra Singh, spoke about how there are structural and cultural transformation in Indian society, speaking about how India is on par with the West. But at the same time, we have not totally replaced the tradition by modern. Modern and tradition are coexisting. And this is what the concept called as what? Multiple modernities. Both are present. So there may be present nuclear family with a family joinedness. There may be present secularization, along with that religious revivalism. There may be present democracy, but in democracy there will be caste-based politics, as Rajini Kothari says. Modern is not displacing tradition. Modern and tradition started living together. They are cohabiting with each other. That is what you should conclude. Cohabitation of both. They have married each other. And you can write like this: Indian modernization is more Indian than modern. That also you can write as a conclusion. Land reform features structure of agriculture will have to be changed. Tiller should become the owner of the land. Concentration of wealth should be avoided. Socialist principles demanded land reform. That is why First Amendment Act incorporated 31A, which you know. But what is sociology? Sociology is Marxism. Land reform has not resulted in redistribution. Surinder Jodhka says, even when distributed, it was only wasteland, a land which cannot be used. So, there is so much of Marxian approach which you have to write. Feminist approach, whether land reform meant redistribution of land to women, whether women were given title ownership to the land. In the patriarchal society, even when land is given, land was given in the name of the man, not in the name of the women, because patriarchy says that property is rooted in the hands of the male members of the family. So women could not get redistribution of land. Because of lack of land redistribution only, there is present what? Agrarian unrest. If land was properly redistributed, then why Naxalism would come? Why farmers' unrest in the form of farmer suicide should come? Today, whether land reform has been discussed in any public policy? No. Are they including in any electoral manifesto? No. So, land reform is a failed experiment in India. And that is why the feudal structure in agriculture prevails even today. Feudal structure in agriculture prevails even today. Andre Bethe's village study. See, second village study. In the same paper, Earlier also we saw 1950s village study, to now Andre Bethe separately he has been asked. Andre Bethe, Sripuram village study, caste, class and power. Based on a study of Sripuram village, write the dimension, 3 dimensions of stratification. He follows Weber's model. Weberian model is followed. So there is no hierarchy which is fixed. Hierarchy keeps changing. Asymmetrical. There is no symmetrical. There is only asymmetrical hierarchy present, because there is present heterogeneity. Even within Brahmins, there are present Telugu Brahmins, Kannada Brahmins, Tamil Brahmins. They are different. Brahmins are divided into 2 groups, Iyyars and Iyengars. And dominant caste like Vellalas have come. They have started owning the land. Adi Dravidas also started owning the land in Sripuram village. People started shifting their loyalty from Congress party to Dravidian party, including Brahmins. So much of changes are found abundantly in village social reality. So don't say that villages are little republics. Right? It represents the civilizational value. Yes, many people, plurality is the pluralism is the civilizational value. Heterogeneity is the civilizational value which is present in Sripuram village according to Andre Bethe. Middle class in democracy and development. What are the features of middle class? So they are consumerist class, aspirational class, urbanized, secularized. They have scientific approach towards world view. And how it is causing democracy? In fact, middle class led the freedom movement. Middle class led the freedom movement. Who led the freedom movement? Western educated middle class were the champions of the freedom movement. So that is why we went for national population policy in 1950s. That is why we went for land reform. That is why we went for green revolution. That is why we went for Panchayat Raj institutions. So middle class were the harbingers of social change. Right? The role of middle class in polity was discussed by Leela Dubey. India Unbound, Guru Charan Das writes about the middle class today. So many books on middle class we have. India Unbound, Guru Charan Das. Leela Dubey, India's New Middle Class, book name. Leela Dubey, India's New Middle Class. Surinder Jotka, the Indian Middle Class. The new or the Indian middle class. Leela Dubey, New Middle Class. New middle class are those middle class who came after liberalization. India's new middle class. India's new middle class. Book written by Leela Dubey. D-U-B, not B-B. D-U-B. So there is a data which says that India will have 61% of middle class. Now 30% of middle class will become 61% in 2047. In 100 years of independence, if you can have 60% of middle class in India, that is sheer development. This makes India as a soft power, middle class. All the IT companies or the Fortune 500 companies are coming to India because 60% will become middle class in 2047. Now 30%. It will double in just a matter of 25 years. So secularism, democracy, because of middle class. Giving importance to development, middle class. So middle class should not be seen in economic terms. Middle class is having a social consequence. Normally middle class was a term used only for economic grouping, but Jodhka says no, use for not just economic consequence, for social consequence. Durkheim pointed out that everything can be seen as a social fact. Again, see, kinship changes because here marriage changes. Same question, almost same question. Nature of changes: urbanization, modernization, secularization, democratization, more individualization, because that is what modernity wanted you. You will have to become achievement oriented. You should have a rational attitude towards relationship. So therefore, marriages, more secular marriages today. Live-in relationship. And of late, homosexual. So this speaks about what? Social change. Marriage and kinship becomes the foundational institution. When society changes, marriage and family changes. When marriage and family changes, society changes. So changing variations in the marriage patterns is not indication of decline of a particular institution. Rather, it speaks about the adaptability of the institution with the changing times. Dumont's concept of purity pollution. Very simple. It is a central principle in the caste system. He writes in his book Homo Hierarchicus. A very straightforward question. Descent approach, alliance approach. Descent approach. L.H. Morgan, Henry Maine. So it speaks about who came from whom. From ancestors. Male ancestor, it is patrilineal descent. Female ancestor, it is matrilineal descent. So it focuses on from where we are tracing our origin. And most of the societies are patrilineal societies. But alliance approach is by Levi-Strauss. He wrote about structural principles of kinship, where he says the reason for marriage is taboo. One cannot marry one's primary kin. Therefore, one has to marry somebody from outside the group. So exogamy came because of taboo. Is incest is taboo, which is why exogamy came. Sigmund Freud also says about totemism and incest, or incest and taboo. He wrote about incest and taboo. So it is taboo. People who are primary kin should not have sexual ties, which is why people have to search somebody from outside group. So alliance approach, marriage based kinship. This is blood based kinship. Kinship is both consanguine blood plus affine marriage. Sanskritization, M.N. Srinivas, nothing to be discussed here. Very straightforward question. You can very easily write what is Sanskritization. Is Sanskritization universal? Is reference group universal? So see, paper 1, paper 2, you can use interchangeably. There is no compartmentalization. You can use it together. Critical evaluation. Again, Sanskritization only came what? Sanskritization. Actually, Sanskritization came because Srinivas says modernization is a value loaded term. Let us have Sanskritization. Sanskritization, westernization, then desanskritization, tribalization, Kshatriyization, or criticisms against Brahmanization, which is otherwise called as Sanskritization. Tribal policy, isolation, assimilation, integration. So this is independent India, and this is Verrier Elwin, and this is G.S. Gore. Simple. Globalization and agrarian structure, class structure. So capitalism in agriculture. From Marxian perspective. What happened because of globalization? Capitalism came. Corporate agriculture leads to commodification of land, depeasantization, pauperization. All Marxian terms can be written for this question. Right? P. Sainath is writing about farmer suicide because of corporate hijack of agriculture. Green revolution, very simple. Why green revolution? To resolve the problem of food crisis in India. Ford Foundation in their research paper wrote about the food crisis in India, and they said that it can be resolved only through technology to disprove Malthusian theory. Malthus said what? Population increases geometrically, food supply will increases arithmetically. At one point of time, people will die due to lack of food. So to prove Malthus wrong, technology was used, that is called as green revolution. Many studies are there. John Mencher study, then Balla and Chadda study, TK woman study. Many studies are there to speak about the impact of green revolution. Concept of development induced displacement, tribal. In the name of development, tribes are displaced. They form only 8% of the population. Out of total displacement, 60% are tribe. Disproportional to their population, they face displacement, which is why tribal unrest. Dam causes maximum displacement. Then national park causes displacement. Then reintroducing Asiatic lion causes displacement. And then mining causes displacement. How and all displacement is happening without adequate rehabilitation, which increases marginalization and land alienation of the tribal community, should be the answer for this question. Cultural pluralism. See, already we have said in paper 1 religious pluralism. Now they have asked cultural pluralism. Similar questions they have asked. Similar question, cultural pluralism. This is a solution. This is a solution for problems arising due to assimilation. In the Western countries, when migrant population are going, they will have to be absorbed by the host culture. They have to leave their culture, get absorbed into the host culture. So it is assimilation. You leave your culture and jump into another culture. But we retained pluralism because we don't want assimilation. We wanted only integration, which means people can come for thousands of years. People came from different parts of the world. For centuries, people came from different parts of the world. They can have their own cultural right. They can have their own cultural identity, and that right to culture will be protected as a fundamental right in the constitution. And secularism also supports this concept of cultural pluralism. And this is why Nehru says unity comes due to uniformity in the West because of assimilation. Unity comes due to diversity in India because of integration. We have a salad bowl culture, not a melting pot culture of the West. New education policy, they have asked about the features. So don't write about the features. Write one or two features and give sociological viewpoints. Don't write features 1, 2, 3, this policy, that policy, this feature, that feature. Till third standard you have to study in this lab, till fifth standard you'll study in regional language. Then you have to entry point is age 3. Then it is against federalism because it is in the concurrent list. You go to now GS, you don't come to sociology. What should be written for this? What should be written? Elitist, exclusion, deprivation, undemocratic. It is creating monoism rather than pluralism. Elitist allows what? Private centers, private universities, which will exclude the majority of the population. What they say? The entry age is 3. Can entry age be 3 for a child? In all states, we have gross enrollment ratio, which is now more than 35%. But they are telling by 2035 you should have a gross enrollment ratio, which we have already got. So you are telling go back. Uniformity in the syllabus. Uniform syllabus against pluralism. Uniform syllabus is against pluralism. You say after 6th standard you should start the vocational training. If you start vocational training, then I will be doing what I wanted based on my culture. I will not be included in the formal education. So I am coming from tribal community, I will do only that thing. I will not be given opportunity to enter into the mainstream culture. You are saying up to 5th standard you will be given mother tongue instruction. Beyond which? Beyond 5th standard? Right? There is no guarantee. And definitely it is going to exclude the, when you say that multiple exit options are available, it will increase more dropouts. It will increase the dropouts. Who will be dropping out? Women will be dropping out. Tribal children will be dropping out. Dalit children will be dropping out. Like that, you should write from sociological perspective. Symbolic interactionism says that a child comes to the school, you give a label to the child that it comes from the lower caste, and the teacher will treat the child like a lower caste child who will not be able to understand what is taught. And from that labeling, discrimination starts. Rosenthal effect says how teacher is handling the student, based on that student will develop. If the teacher discriminates the student telling that you are not intelligent, Even brilliant student will become unintelligent. So biasness is present. Like that, you should write. Don't write the features 1, 2, 3, 4. Social media mass mobilization. See in what way this is different from the protest. Paper 1 already asked or not? Paper 1, we have already asked this, we have already discussed this, paper 1. So what social media causes? Awareness. It causes awareness. Awareness. It causes action. Awareness. Action. There are community related networks. Community related networks. You come to know about the problem. Awareness. You can form a group in the social media. You can form a group. And now you can act. So social media increases the opportunity for dialogue and discourse in the political system. Dialogue and discourse in political system. It causes activism. Those who were very passive earlier, political activism you can manifest during the election time. Only during election time you will be politically active. Once in 5 years you will be politically active. With the coming of social media, every day you are politically active. Every day you are politically active. So political activism increases online political activism. Regional variations in the sex ratio. Ashish Bose. Always population demography, I used to give two names, Ashish Bose and Tulsi Patel. Simply you write. Regional variation, you can see that north versus south very clearly. Though some states are very progressive states like Punjab, Haryana, but sex ratio is very less. But Tamil Nadu, Kerala, because of development, sex ratio is more. So states having growth in the north versus states having development in the south. Growth means economic prosperity. Economic prosperity results in sex-based, sex-selective abortions. How? Because of the access to technology. There is an unholy alliance between technology and culture. But when you come to southern states, literacy rate is more. So literacy, developmental indicators, health literacy, and the primary universalization of primary education, they are very much needed for improving the sex ratio. And a thesis also they have proposed, wheat versus rice. You know this hypothesis, wheat rice hypothesis. Those states growing wheat in the north, their sex ratio is less. Those states growing rice in the south, their sex ratio is high. This Andre Bethe speaks about this. Why? In the wheat cultivation, you require few labor force. Rice cultivation, you require more labor force. More labor force means you require more women. More women will be in the labor force. Participation of women is more, so they are economically contributing, therefore they are not liability, they are asset. But here it is not the case. No need for female workforce, so they are liability. And that is why regional variation. Now, secularization, increasing secularization, modernization or secularization is not about going against religion. It is about being more religiously active. Our secularization is encouraging religious participation in the public place as well. Western secularization is encouraging or being neutral to religious affairs. Ours is encouraging religious participation in the public affairs. So in West it is privatization of religion, but in India it is making religion a public affair. So that is why people like Varshni, Ashutosh Varshni on secularization. You can write. T.N. Madan on secularization. Ashish Nandi on secularization. What Ashish Nandi says? Secularization happens, and this is going to what? It is going to revive religion. How you know? Modernization tries to kill the cultural identity of you. It is cultural annihilation which is attempted by modernization. So culture will defend itself. Cultural defense. When I am getting attacked, I will renew my identity rather than signing out. I will try to revive my identity, as what happened in case of Iran in 1979. Because religion wanted uniqueness, modernity wanted uniformity. Now uniqueness versus uniformity. Religion will therefore try to reinvent itself in different ways, sometimes in the form of the cult, sometimes in the form of fundamentalism also. So you can bring theories of religion. Why compensator theory also can be brought? More and more modernity means more and more community killing character. We wanted to create new communities, so new cults came, same new religion, and this thing, how it is different, you tell me? Same theme, how many questions they have asked? Social media and mass mobilization, 2 times they have asked. Okay, village studies, 2 times they have asked. Cultural pluralism, 2 times they have asked. New religion and secularization, 2 times they have asked. Repeated themes I have seen in the 2023 paper. Now, it is environmental sociology. Environmental sociology. Chipko movement. speaks about ecofeminism. Chipko movement, how it was a tree hug movement which was able to organize women for the cause of the nature. There is a feminist scholar, Vandana Shiva, eco-feminist. Staying Alive is a book written by her. Staying Alive. So she says that women are treated as Shakti, creator, but at the same time she is also an object of patriarchy. So there is a paradoxical identity women are having. On one hand, they are the Shakti, creator. On the other hand, they can be exploited by men. Nature and women have symbiotic relation with each other. And that what only led to Chipko movement. Women are dependent on nature. Women represent nature. The process of nature and the process of women are same. Nature reproduces, so as women also reproduces. So natural processes are ingrained in women. That is why women represents nature. When nature is exploited, women are exploited. And that is the genesis of Chipko movement. So what Gandhi wanted, non-violent movement. He wanted there should not be any destruction to the nature. He says that there shall not be any industrialization. Go for rural reconstruction. Don't go for industrialization. Because he said that it will be unsustainable if you have mass production through machineries. So charkas were popularized by Gandhi. Right? Child menace, how to curb. Child labor should be seen as a caste related issue. It should be seen from the gender perspective. So there is intersection of caste and gender in child labor. Child Labor Act is not able to address these two dimensions. So what are the problems in the Child Labor Act? The problem is that in 2016 it allows child labor in family firms. How can you allow child to work in the family firms after school? After school, child will have to do homework, not work. Lower caste children are rag pickers. They are rag pickers. Upper caste children are in the restaurants. Poor or untouchable children are not allowed into the restaurant to do the work of cleaning the table because pollution. Their presence itself is pollution. And therefore, menial, very polluting job is done by them, whereas clean job is done by upper caste children. And women, more child workers are women, because women, children, girls, women do not take paid employment. The concept of paid employment is unknown to them in patriarchy. So they have been habituated to do a work without any payment. And therefore the employers need women as children, girl children as worker, because she will not protest. She can be paid very less salary. She will not be joining trade union. So how to resolve? Legal steps are not sufficient. Flavia Agnes. Legal measure alone is not sufficient for alleviating the problems of women or child. There should be a social engineering. Girls' education should be given. Tribal education should be given. Dalit should be given literacy. Poverty should be addressed in the Dalit community. Women should be having gainful employment through skill training. Then only you can abolish child labor. Otherwise, it will be a vicious cycle. Dalit consciousness helped in India's democracy. Dalit consciousness. It is equal to class consciousness. Dalit consciousness. Dr. Ambedkar. Then you can write about Harold Gold. Ranajit Guha. So many subaltern sociologists have talked about this. Then Sukadiyo Thorat. Even M.S.A. Rao spoke about Dalit consciousness. Before independence, it was against Brahmanism. After independence, it is not against Brahmanism. It is for political mobilization of the Dalits. So definitely it is a part of democracy. From class in itself, they have become class for itself. True class they have become. Revolutionary class they have become. Reverse migration. I have asked a question. During the pandemic time, reverse migration. Many millions have to go back to their places. Who are they? Who are they? Features. They are low skilled workers, illiterate, poor. They are lacking habitation, sanitation. Their children are not included in any of the social benefit schemes. So they are marginalized communities. They are like marginal men. They will accept unacceptable terms and conditions because it is a question of survival for them. When pandemic hit, lockdown came, nobody was giving security of tenure for them. They are highly informal workers. So what happened? Whatever payment they are eligible for, that payment itself was not given by the employers, and which is why they became very vulnerable. They have to go back to their place. When they go back to the place, in the process of migration, many women gave birth to children because pregnant mothers were migrating. Many gave birth to children on the road and they died due to lack of medical care. Because of want of food, many died. And they went to their host country, host place. When they went to their origin, there already there is a poverty present, which is why these people were coming due to not pull factor, push factor. Once again they are going there, the burden is increasing. Poverty becomes manifolded and the virus is also spread. So this is the problem. Any labor related sociology should include feminist perspective, Marxian perspective. And who are they? Mostly they are belonging to the lower strata of the society. Poor, lower caste, women. This is called as intersectionality. Intersection. 3 dimensions are intersecting. Gender, caste, then class. Urban, rural, urban continuum. So Robert Redfield, in a study of Mexico, found this. Both are not water-tight compartments. There is interchange between these two. This was also used by Mackie Marriott. who used the term universalization, parochialization, because Robert Redfield wrote about little tradition, great tradition, universalization, parochialization. This and all I have given in the hit list. But students should understand that little tradition, great tradition, universalization, parochialization can be added here. There is an interaction between these two. Even G.S. Gore spoke about urbanization. Urbanization, rural and urban had a continuum which was disturbed only by the British. Today, because of easy transportation, communication, media exposure, digital India permeating through all boundaries, it becomes easy to adopt the Western lifestyle in villages. Patriarchy, honor killing. This was also given in the hit list. If you go and see, I have given a hit list where I have given patriarchy, honor killing in the hit list. Here, the question is patriarchy, honor killing. So, you should write about Brahminic patriarchy, provincial patriarchy, casteist patriarchy. So, why honor killing? Because of intercaste marriage. And write about Dr. Ambedkar, what Dr. Ambedkar said in his work Annihilation of Caste. He wanted intercaste marriage because only through fusion of blood caste will disappear. So, when you have Dalits driven by Ambedkarism going for annihilation of the caste system, it results in opposition from the dominant caste, because women are the honor of the family in a patriarchal society. So caste is surviving, or the cornerstone of caste is endogamy. This endogamy is what is threatened by intercaste marriage. And that is why, to protect the purity of the caste, honor killing is executed by the Kap Panchayat. Cooperative movements, challenges faced by cooperative movements. Same question was asked and I have given the answer in the test series. What are the problems in the cooperative society? We have a number of cooperative society study, like Satyadeva study, Atreya study. So many studies are there. Cooperatives are hijacked by the upper caste people. All the benefits were enjoyed by the dominant caste people without the benefits reaching to the common man. Because the cooperative leadership is in the hands of the dominant community who are influencing the state. Satyadeva, in a study of seed cooperatives, found that all the seeds which were given free of cost through the cooperatives were taken by the rich farmers, which are supposed to go to the poor farmers. So again, from feminist perspective, Marxian perspective, subaltern perspective, this question can be addressed. Sociology, you have these three perspectives. You don't know, use these perspectives. Again, modernization perspective can be added. Modernization, feminist, Marxist, subaltern. Modernization will say about the pros of the initiative. Feminist, problem for women not addressed because of patriarchal control of cooperatives. Marxist, upper class is controlling everything because they are the owners of the forces of production and they control the superstructure called the state. Subaltern, question raised by Dalits. tribes. Aging. Here, there are some sociological theories. Aging means sociologically roles are changing, role changes. There are some sociological theories like activation theory, disengagement theory, conflict theory of aging. Major problems, one of the major problem is feminization of aging. More number of widows than widower because of the low age of marriage of women than the man. In patriarchal society, husband is more aged than the wife. So, we have given an approach to the questions of paper 1, paper 2, UPSC Sociology 2023. This is not the only answer. Sociology is a social science. It is not mathematics. This is only one of the many answers. There are other answers possible. Maybe tomorrow, if I hold another session, my answer will change. Because this is about perspective. It is about how well you are able to use what you have studied. As an IAS officer tomorrow, what you are supposed to do is resource management, optimal use of resources. Resources will be few. You will have only scarcity of resources, but your intelligence lies in how optimally, how best you are using the resources. So it is not that you should go to the internet and see page after page, book after book, what Leela Dubey is writing about India's new middle class. Don't read all these things. I am there. I will give you a list of books. Middle class means write this book. What should be the content of the book? One liner can be told based on which you can write your own stories, and nobody is going to question, because sociology, I have told that it is not about right or wrong. It is about how much you are coming near to the question. It is the direction which is what is tested. It is not perfection that is tested in sociology, because sociology gives you scope for creating your own answer from the basic knowledge you have acquired in the process of preparation, right? So October 6th, there is a sociology mentorship program. If you want to get the details, you can get the details, and this will definitely give you a roundup of sociology. Consolidation is the best preparation for any subject, including sociology. And I found that even those people who are repeaters, they are not able to consolidate the subject. When I was talking to some time back, 2-3 days back, they are still saying the same problem. I am not able to consolidate. Why? Because I go and deeply analyze why they are saying the same thing, despite of they already have written 3-4 times. After prelims, they are starting the writing process, and there where they are committing mistake. If you start your sociology after your prelims, especially the writing practice, then there will be definitely incompleteness in your preparation, right? So start at the earliest, finish off your entire sociology by 2023, and this will be the surest road to Labasta. All the very best. Thank you.